The killer has already been revealed. The dinner party has already ended in broken glass and blood on the tablecloth. You'd think, after everything Weatherfield just witnessed, that the truth about Theo Silverton's death would finally be laid to rest. But it isn't. Because now Maria Connor is about to sit down with Kit Green and reveal something that could blow this entire story wide open all over again. And this time, the fallout might be even messier than the murder mystery itself. Coronation Street fans thought they'd gotten their answers when Theo Silverton's killer was finally unmasked during one of the most explosive dinner party episodes the show has produced in months. But the aftermath of that night is proving to be just as dramatic as the reveal itself, and new spoiler details confirm that Maria is about to make an admission to Kit that reignites suspicion, deepens the fractures in multiple relationships, and keeps this storyline burning long after viewers thought the mystery had been solved. To understand why this moment matters, you have to go back to the night everything changed. Theo Silverton, a character introduced as a manipulative, controlling presence in Todd's life, met a violent end back in April, falling from scaffolding after a confrontation. For months, the show kept the true circumstances of his death shrouded in mystery, with multiple characters harboring secrets and, in some cases, genuine motives connected to his death. That mystery finally reached its boiling point during a special hour-long episode that aired as a dinner party hosted by Kit Green. What was supposed to be a romantic evening between Kit and Sarah quickly spiraled out of control once the guest list expanded to include Todd, Summer, Gary, and Maria. Kit, who had been growing increasingly suspicious of Sarah's behavior after she canceled plans with him to secretly meet Gary at the builder's yard, had an agenda of his own walking into that dinner. And it was during that gathering that the truth about Theo's death was finally revealed to viewers through a series of flashbacks, confirming that Sarah struck Theo during a confrontation on the scaffolding the night he died, an act that sent him falling to his death below. But the killer's identity wasn't the only bombshell to drop that night. Maria, raising a toast to the evening, stunned the entire table by announcing that her husband Gary and Sarah had secretly been carrying on an affair for weeks. The revelation detonated across the dinner table, exposing tensions that had clearly been simmering just beneath the surface for far longer than anyone at that table had let on. In the aftermath of that chaotic dinner, the fallout has continued to ripple outward through nearly every relationship connected to that table. Maria has been giving Gary the cold shoulder ever since the affair accusation came out, refusing to simply move past the betrayal now that it's been dragged into the open in front of witnesses. Meanwhile, Sarah finds herself blindsided by an unexpected discovery of her own, stumbling across a ring box hidden in Kit's bag, only for Kit to catch her before she can investigate any further, adding yet another layer of unresolved tension to their already fractured relationship. As suspicion continues to swirl, Todd tells Sarah directly that he believes there's more going on between her and Gary than either of them has admitted to. Gary, for his part, isn't backing down. He taunts Kit over his lack of concrete evidence, insisting there was never an affair to begin with, and accusing Kit of simply being jealous, using Theo's murder investigation as a convenient excuse to go after him. But Todd remains unconvinced, continuing to press Sarah for real answers and openly wondering whether Gary might actually know more about Theo's death than he's been letting on. It's within this atmosphere of mounting suspicion and unresolved tension that Maria's admission to Kit becomes so significant. Rather than staying silent or simply nursing her anger at Gary privately, Maria opens up to Kit, someone who has his own deeply personal stake in uncovering the truth about what really happened the night Theo died. Given Kit's determination to get to the bottom of Gary and Sarah's behavior, and given that Maria has her own reasons to want answers after discovering her husband's betrayal, the two find themselves increasingly aligned, whether intentionally or not, in picking apart the inconsistencies surrounding that fateful night. This growing alliance between Maria and Kit adds a fascinating new dynamic to the story. Both of them have been wronged, both of them have legitimate reasons to distrust Gary and Sarah, and both of them are now actively digging for the truth, rather than simply accepting the version of events they've been given. Whatever Maria chooses to share with Kit threatens to unravel whatever fragile peace Gary and Sarah have managed to maintain since the dinner party imploded, and it raises the very real possibility that new details about the night Theo died could come to light as a direct result of Maria and Kit comparing notes. Meanwhile, the emotional fallout continues to spread outward to other characters caught in the crossfire. Todd, struggling under the weight of everything that's unfolded, turns to George for support, admitting he's never felt more alone. Concerned by his emotional state, George and Christina urge him to move back in with them, worried about how much this ordeal has taken out of him. And Sarah, seemingly unable to cope with the mounting pressure from every direction, is later seen drowning her sorrows at the Rovers, her drunken state leaving both Nick and David visibly concerned about her well-being. Entertainment outlets covering the soap have continued tracking this storyline closely, with coverage emphasizing just how far-reaching the consequences of that single dinner party have become. What could have easily been treated as a one-episode murder mystery payoff has instead spiraled into weeks of continuing fallout, touching nearly every major relationship connected to that table. Fans online have been particularly invested in the growing dynamic between Maria and Kit, with many speculating that their combined suspicion could ultimately be what finally exposes the full truth about Gary and Sarah's relationship and its connection to Theo's death. There's also considerable discussion around Gary's increasingly defensive behavior, with viewers debating whether his insistence that Kit is simply jealous is a genuine defense or a desperate attempt to deflect from something far more incriminating. The uncertainty around what exactly Maria knows and what she's now told Kit has kept fan theories running wild across social media. This development matters because it demonstrates just how effectively Coronation Street has structured this entire Theo Silverton storyline, refusing to let the mystery's resolution mark a clean, tidy ending. By having Maria form an unexpected alliance with Kit in the aftermath of the dinner party reveal, the show ensures that the consequences of Theo's death continue rippling outward, touching new relationships and generating new tension long after the initial killer reveal. For Maria's character specifically, this moment represents a meaningful shift, from a betrayed wife nursing her wounds privately to someone actively seeking answers alongside another wronged party. That kind of proactive, alliance-driven storytelling gives her arc considerably more depth and agency than simply reacting to Gary's betrayal in isolation. Looking ahead, expect Maria and Kit's growing alignment to keep generating fresh tension for Gary and Sarah in the weeks to come, particularly if whatever Maria reveals gives Kit the concrete evidence he's been searching for. There's also the unresolved mystery of that ring box in Kit's bag, hinting at a potential proposal that could either bring him and Sarah closer together or collapse entirely under the weight of his mounting suspicions. Todd's emotional state and his eventual move back in with George and Christina could open up entirely new storylines around his recovery from everything he's endured connected to Theo. And with Gary continuing to deny any wrongdoing, viewers can likely expect the true depth of his involvement in covering up the circumstances around Theo's death to come under increasing scrutiny as Maria and Kit continue comparing notes. Just when it seemed like Theo Silverton's murder mystery had reached its conclusion, Coronation Street proves the fallout is far from over. Maria's admission to Kit adds a fresh, unpredictable layer to an already tangled web of betrayal, suspicion, and unresolved grief, ensuring this storyline continues to dominate Weatherfield's drama for weeks to come. So what do you think Maria actually told Kit? And could their alliance be exactly what finally exposes the full truth about Gary and Sarah? Let us know your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Coronation Street spoilers and entertainment news updates.